taught us all that, Coach. Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, no,
You taught us all.
with all those athletes, you guys all made it easy. And Tracy's one of those athletes that really made it easy for us as coaches. Um, he had his passion.
Yeah.
You would hear Tracy talk about being on his moto and the excitement. I unfortunately couldn't share that with him. I didn't have the same passion about being on a moto, but when he talked about it, he'd be so excited and talk about his motorcycle that he purchased and just the passion that came out. But one of the passions that Stephanie and I did share with him was mountain biking. And Tracy and Shannon did live out here in Colorado for a while, and we got to share that. And I remember when he bought that bike for Shannon, we tried to get out as much as we could. But eventually Tracy moved back to California, but he did come back out and visit us here in Colorado, and we planned some great trips. We did a 4-day trip where we went out into the Rockies and had some great times on the bike and shared some burgers and beers afterwards and some great laughs. But many of you know that on that last day that Tracy was here, he was in a pretty bad accident. We went to a downhill park, and doing what Tracy does best is just going for it, crashed and suffered some pretty severe injuries. He had a back injury, a little bit of a head injury. And so that 4-day trip ended up being a 10-day trip because he had to stay in our home with us to recover, and which was great. We love him as a brother, and we brought him into our home and made sure that he was recovered before he returned back to California. But I used to tease him all the time that, that's a hell of a long way to go, Tracy, to maybe fake that injury just so you can have my wife as your private nurse and getting a sponge bath. And I teased him all the time, and he looked at me, and he, with that silly ass grin of his, and kind of like, yep, that was my plan. But I love sharing that story with people because I think, he did love his mountain bike, and we loved about being out there with him. And it was just being out in the mountain air, and it was something fun to share with Tracy for sure. He was such a big part of our lives for Stephanie and I, and the Naps and the Flores. Stephanie and I were married in Castroville at Our Lady of Refuge at the church there, and we took great pride with the people that we were going to be in our bridal party, because those people that we selected, we wanted that we would know that those people would be by our side no matter what, through tough times, through the fun times. And Tracy was selected for that reason, not just because he looked great in wedding photos with that beautiful hair of his, but because he would. A phone call and a request, and Tracy was always there for us. And I know for many of you as well, Tracy was that type of person that, like I said, he embraced everyone that he came across. We were all more than acquaintances. We became family to Tracy. That who Tracy is so much more than a coach, a player to us. He became family to many of us. Tracy was he was a friend, like I said, to so many people, and those people that he called a friend, embrace and know that he loved you, and he wanted to make you feel important because those things were important to him, because as friends, those were the people that he surrounded himself that made him stronger. Tracy was a husband. Tracy, I want you to know, as a husband, Tracy was passionately loving. He lived fully and committed and cared. Tracy was a father to Christian. I want you to know that when he spoke of you, Christian, that he spoke with such pride, and he spoke greatness about you all the time. He loved you so much, Christian. Tracy was also a brother, and to his siblings, I want you each to know, and thank you all for allowing us to call Tracy our brother, because it meant a lot to so many of us to call him brother. And when he called us brother, and he was never afraid to say, I love you. And I heard it many times. Tracy was always also his son, and to his parents, I want you to take great pride knowing that out of your presence, that Tracy was so respectful, he was so kind and such a loving man that many of us learned so many things from him. We all have some difficult times to come ahead of us, each and every one of us, because we'll want to pick up that phone, and I've done it already. We want to pick up that phone and hear his voice. We want to hear the positive things that he'll tell us, that everything's going to be okay. And those difficult times will come, but it's okay to go ahead and cry and shed those tears, because he's left this earth far too early. He's left our lives far too early. But when those times come that we are missing him and tears come, I want you all to wipe those tears away and remember the joy and laughter that he brought each and every one of us, because those are the times that I'll pull away from every day, because he made me such a better person by being my friend and my brother. And to Tracy, I just want to tell you that this is Frankie telling you that I love you and I'll miss you. And you've meant so much to me and so many others. And I hope you left this world knowing that deep down in everyone's heart, we care so much about you. Tracy, I love you. And we'll see you in the next world, buddy. Thank you.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won. The port is near. The bells I hear. The people all exulting. While follow eyes the steady keel. The vessel grim and daring. But oh, heart, 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 oh, the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen cold and dead. Oh, Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills. For you bouquets and ribboned wreaths, for you the shores are crowding, for you they call the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. Dear Captain, dear Father, this arm beneath your head, it is some dream that on the deck, fallen cold, fallen dead. My captain does not answer. His lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm. He has no pulse nor will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, its voyage closed and done. From fearful trip the victor ship comes in with object won. Exult, O shores, and ring, O bells, but I with mournful tread walk the deck my captain lies, fallen cold and dead.
Hi, Jerry. Hey, Kimberly. All right, Troy, do you want to go to the next video?
I'm sorry, I just missed that.
No, I was talking to Troy. Sorry, I wasn't sure Troy wanted to go to the next video, but we'll go to the next video, Troy.
Yeah, go ahead and cue your video up there. Sorry.
I just hear someone talking.
Mute your mic.
Day after day, I'm more confused. Yet I look for the light through the pouring rain. You know that's a game that I hate to lose. And I'm feeling the strain. Always shame. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Won't you take me away? Beginning to think that I'm wasting time. I don't understand the things I do. The world world outside looks so unkind. And I'm counting on you. You can carry me through. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Won't you take me away? And when my mind is free, no melody can move me. When I'm feeling blue, the guitar's coming through to soothe me. Thanks for the joy that you're giving me. The joy that you're giving me. I want you to know that I believe in your song. Rhythm and rhyme and harmony. You help me along, making me strong. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away, drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away, drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Yeah. Oh, won't you take me? Oh, won't you take me?
Oh, did you really?
Thank you, Jerry, for putting that together. That's a tearjerker right there. Next up, we've got some words that Dan put together here. I'd like to read for him. Here we go. There are just so many positive traits that Tracy possessed. He made a friend of everyone he met and an ally of everyone he worked with. He was always willing to lend an ear to someone's problems and woes and would provide wisdom and guidance that was never negative. He was quick to forgive and always could understand a different point of view from his own. He always found the best in people during difficult circumstances. Tracy loved animals, especially Bronson, but even more so, they loved him. Whenever he would visit, our dogs would sit on his lap and just forget about us. Tracy knew from an early age that we were all strong together. He always rallied among his friends and family and made sure everyone was rowing in the same direction. He never made an enemy and was always able to keep relationships intact, even in the most difficult of situations. Maybe he learned through his playing 3 sports, even before high school and on to college. He realized the team was everything, just as it is in the workplace and at home. I think Gary gave him the nickname Whitey the Whiner after complaining about the referees constantly. After returning to college, after a few years' absence, he again took up football, where he earned the nickname the Old Man. He outperformed the rest of the kids and earned a full ride scholarship to Wesleyan. Playing football was one of his favorite sports, and his favorite after-game story would be about putting the stamp on an opposing player. Several times while playing for Hartnell, we took him to the ER. Then he proceeded telling the ER doctors what their injury was and how to treat it. As they rolled him into the triage, the doctor asked him, "How do you know this stuff?" He replied, "I play football." Later in life, to work off the day-to-day stress that he was feeling, he developed a great love for dirt bikes and later mountain bikes. Work It was common for him to ride 70 miles a week with 1,700-foot elevation change with a number of his close friends, again, doing his best to defy the laws of nature and gravity. Tracy was one of those people that did everything all out or nothing. We all have Tracy stories. Some are only rumors. Some parents should never know. Nonetheless, Tracy lived every moment with gusto and looking for that next adrenaline rush to put a smile on his face. In enthusiasm for life and love of family will be so missed. Tracy would never miss a Viking game. Funny thing though, after he would visit, we would find programs and football games recorded over some of our saved DVR recordings. I never thought I would miss that, but I do now. Right now, I suspect he's telling God to set the DVR to record the next Vikings game and still not answering his phone so that no one will give away the final score if he can watch the recording. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Rest in peace, my son, until we can all join you and watch the Vikings game with you again. At this point, we'd like to open the floor up to anybody else that would like to speak. If there's anybody that has anything they want to say.
This is Shannon. I don't want to talk in front of anyone, but I'll start. I just want to thank Jerry for putting this together. Troy, I've never met you in person, but thank you also for what you just shared. Kathy, I'm so sorry. Also Christian, and really everybody here, so sorry. Tracy was such a good friend to me, and I heard from him exactly 1 month before he passed. I looked on my phone to check because I knew it wasn't long. I was so grateful to hear from him because the last time I had seen him was about a year before. He took me to lunch in San Jose. I happened to be working in the Bay Area for a couple years. And we met for lunch, and I just been really thinking about his wonderful smile from across the table and how it was just so wonderful hanging out with him for that hour and a half that we had. And he had sent me some funny texts after, like a picture of him making macaroni and cheese in the oven. He felt like it was so funny and cool because he came up with a new way to do macaroni and cheese. Anyway, I don't even know why I'm sharing that right now. I think I mainly want to say a couple things, and that is he made a big impact on my life, meaning he showed me what true friendship is. It really matters in my life personally that I had him, and I think I will never forget him. You don't get friends like that all the time in life. And so I do feel the loss. Like Frank said, and I know all of you know this and it's been said, but I want Kathy to hear it. I really want Christian to know it, is that, he was that bright light. He was that person that you could count on to be able to tell anything to. And he would give you the best. He would listen. He would give you the best responses. It was so heartfelt and authentic. And I think it's rare, for me anyway, to meet somebody like that in this life and to know someone like that. So I knew Tracy from grade school. I was trying to remember if it was grade school at Echo Valley or if it started at Moss Landing when we all moved over. But nevertheless, he stayed. I'm 45. Stayed my friend this whole time. I knew him when he had the 1-bedroom apartment in Castroville with Christian, and as a single parent, we understood each other. He had to do that quite a few years, and so have I. I've been a single mom 20 years, and well, I still am. But anyway, then I remember him having the place in Fresno Clovis, and Christian being there. In fact, my son remembers watching Austin Powers with Christian. We both have Christians, by the way. My Christian's 24, and he's just been a part of my life this whole time. And so I just want Christian to know how proud he was of you. Oh my goodness, so proud of you. In fact, at our lunch in San Jose, he was just beaming talking about you, and that love for you is just golden. Kathy, he loved you so much. As his mom, in conversations we had, he always expressed his appreciation for you, and I just love that about him. As a mother myself, I just think how my boys, how they might think of me, and the way he thought of you was so precious and endearing, as the pictures that Jerry had put in the slideshow show. So I just thank you for letting me speak. I hope I didn't go over the 2 minutes, but I'll toss it to whoever else wants to. But thank you for letting me be here and share with you all.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome. Jerry, I don't have anybody else queued up. Would anybody else like to say something?
You're live. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't see everybody's picture. All I can see is Troy, so I kind of wanted to see everybody's face. Dieter and I haven't made anything formal to say, but in the spirit of saying fun things about Tracy, I do have a fun story, even though I'm crying. Sorry. I met Tracy when he was 10.
That's like
Troy was 16. So I watched him grow up, and I watched him grow into being a man I was so very proud of. And everybody's already said how grateful we are to Kathy and Dan, because they've been wonderful parents to Tracy. And of course to Troy. And it's good to see my grandparents when I can't see anything. All I can see is one picture right now, so I can't look at anybody's face. But I did want to tell you a funny story. Tracy's dad and I used to live in Huntington Beach, and it was right across Pacific Coast Highway from the ocean. And we had a really nice pool. So Tracy and I went swimming together one time. Now, I was about 40, so I was already over the hill as far as any athleticism that I could have ever demonstrated to Tracy, who was like the super dynamo of all time. So we were swimming kind of back and forth, and he challenged me to swim a lap or two with him. And I said, you know, talking smack, well, I don't want to see you get beat. And he said, well, I don't want to see you get beat. And I said, okay, then let's swim it off. And we swam 2 laps of this really long pool. And toward the end, I thought my heart was going to break open, because I was 40 years old and he was, you know, like what, 12 or something by that point. And I hadn't swum competitively. At the end, though, I beat him by about 2 laps. And I've never seen him so pissed off in all the time before or since then, because he really wanted to beat me.
I'd like to thank everybody for attending.
Can we see everybody? And is there some way to fix the computer so we can see everybody?
No, Jerry's got it set up so you can't see everybody.
How can you get on there? Talk to him.
Maybe you can change.
Jerry, you there? Can you pick me up? Frank here. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're very fortunate to have Tracy in our lives. Many, many years since he was a youngster. And you've all heard mi casa's tu casa. Well, he took that literally. If you don't, his house, my house is your house. That's what that is. He'd come around, stay on weekends, come up to Smurf, Sally, my wife, come up, get her from behind. Hey, Smurf, what's for breakfast? Or, hey, Smurf, what's for dinner? But we loved him very, very much. And another incident I had with that boy was the championship. Frank was coaching there at Hartnell. And after the game, we ran out to the field and they were all kneeling there. And he raised his shirt and showed me, I don't know if I'm still on, showed me his Bulldog shirt underneath. He played for me and he was proud of it. And I gave him a thumbs up on that one. So we're going to miss him very much. Keep him in your hearts always, as we do. And we love you, Tracy. We'll see you again.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hey, Jerry, this is Kurt and Carol.
That's Troy.
Yeah, I know, but Jerry's got the control. There you go. So I thank you guys as well for putting all of this on. Everybody for attending. It's really, really awesome to see everybody's face. Those of you that I haven't been able to meet in the past, it's nice to kind of put a name with the face and whatnot, but it's, I wish it was definitely under better circumstances. But we've, you know, it is what it is. We'll, you know, it's something that we've got to go through. Seeing all the pictures of Tracy when he was little and growing up, I knew there was a reason that I felt a bond to him, because I think him and his towhead blonde hair, right, is probably, he's about the closest to be looking like me when I was a little guy that I think I've ever seen. And it's really cool. I wish that I would have been able to meet him and have him in my life when he was growing up, and, you know, be able to share some of these stories that everybody that's known him a lot longer than I have has been able to share. I believe truly that God puts people in our life for a reason, and I think Tracy's one of those guys for me. I was telling Carol this morning that it was really odd when I worked for a roofing company a long time ago. Frank, you might remember this, and Frank Sr. When we were going into a sales meeting or whatever, and Tracy, we had this meeting set up with this guy that was going to come in and talk to us about windows, because we ran into projects once in a while where we would have to install windows. And so the owner of the company was going to bring this person in to talk to us about selling their windows. Well, it ended up being Tracy, and Tracy was, I don't even know when that was. It was probably 25 years ago. And that was my first experience with Tracy. He was working for a window company down out of Santa Maria, and he invited us to go down and do a plant tour with him. And as everybody said, I mean, even meeting him for the very first time, we went down and we took advantage of going to the plant tour. And there it began, you know, and oddly enough, Tracy he came in, you know, we developed a little bit of a working relationship together. And as Frank said, you know, he made you feel like you'd known him 100 years, and he was, you know, a friend at that point already. Anyways, long story short, I hadn't seen Tracy for many years. And we worked with each other. We talked to each other on the phone once in a while, but really didn't see each other. And then 4 or 5 years later, 10 years later, whatever it was, we ended up getting involved in the Two Steps Ahead gym. And of course, at that point, Tracy was one of those guys that was super, super involved in the gym. And he took us in with open arms. And he was one of those guys that, like, we went in there and Frank and Steph would literally just kick the crap out of us every single day. And Tracy would be right there beside him. But he would be that guy that was going to encourage you and get you to push yourself past that wall. And he's going to compliment you and give you the, you know, that camaraderie to keep going and to come back tomorrow, you know. And a lot of you may or may not know, then we ended up kind of having a little bit of a partnership in that gym. And so we got to spend a lot of time with Tracy. And as Frank said, his love for mountain bikes and getting out in the open air. And I got to share a couple of mud runs with him. And he was, I mean, just the ultimate motivator, and just truly loved life, loved people. And as Frank said, and everybody else has said, he had a way of just making you feel like you were his brother, you know. And one of the other things that I loved about Tracy was, simple fact is, there are not too many Minnesota Vikings fans in the world that I know, and he was one of them. And so he and I, we had, you know, that blonde hair, and we also had the Minnesota Vikings that we bonded over. By the way, Frank and Steph, Frankie, you look really good in the Minnesota Vikings gear, guys. I like that. Anyway, I really, I think at this point, you know, there's a lot of stories, and we're going to miss Tracy so much. He's gone way too soon. And for whatever reason, he's you know, he's probably up there finding the bike trails that he's going to ride with us when we all meet him in heaven. And he's probably trying to figure out the best hikes and the best views and all of those special places that we're gonna end up being with him at some point. But I know one thing, like, really every one of us is Tracy's future, and we're his memories, right? We've got to cherish the moments that each of us had with him, for sure. As you know, everybody said, we're all going to mourn, we're all going to miss him. And we need to be kind with each other. We need to be patient, and allow everybody to experience their mourning process and experience the grief in a way that ultimately suits them and allows them to move on. As everybody said, you know, I mean, we lost a tremendous friend, a son, sibling, a father, you know, and I want to go back and reiterate some of the things that some of the people have already said. To Christian, I've had an opportunity to sit down with your dad and talk about a lot of things that are deep life subjects, right? And trying to deal with our day-to-day lives. And your dad absolutely loved you and cherished you, and with the decisions that he would make and the way that he lived his life and the way he wanted to live his life, ultimately it always came back to a couple of things. It always came back to, you know, his mom and dad and Danny, and then you, Christian, being somebody that you could look up to and somebody that you could be proud of, because he was so proud of you and loved you so much, you know. And Kathy and Danny and Dieter, you guys, you all know he loved you like crazy as well, and he spoke so high of all of you. But I just, I don't know. I guess I ran across, I wrote something down because I can't really remember the poem very well or the saying, but I ran across this and I thought it was kind of fitting, you know. And Frank, you know, Frankie, you admitted to, or you talked about it as well. But it's a quote from Washington Irving, and it says that there is a sacredness in tears. They aren't the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are messengers of overwhelming grief and unspeakable love. So we've got to accept our tears and expressions of loss. We have to accept the angels in all forms that they come in, because they're going to give us a little word. They're going to have a little thought for us. They're going to give us a hug or share a memory with us that is going to bring Tracy close to us and keep his life alive, ultimately. We got to help and unconditionally support each other during these difficult times and upcoming holidays. We got anniversaries coming up, birthdays, and a lot of other times where we're going to miss Tracy. So we all got to be able to lean on each other and make him proud and live our lives the way he would like us to live. I know I took way longer than 2 minutes, everybody, so thanks for being patient with me, but I appreciate all of you. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Hey, sorry if there's a little background noise. I got a little girl slumber party going on right now. I'm David. For those that don't know me, if you know Tracy in the last 20 years, you probably heard about me. Kathy, Dan, Dieter, Christian, you know, I'm so sorry. He was a family member to me, just like he was you guys. You know, I was lucky. I talked to Tracy almost every day. I got to see him a couple weeks before he passed. We sat here at my patio here in Napa, and we had a good talk. He was okay. He was happy. He seemed happy. You know, Tracy was a huge part of my life, from coming back and playing football with me, from coaching me, to coming back and playing with me, to living with me, to letting us take care of Christian. I mean, every part of our life, my life, he was a part of. Even to the point to what I do now for a living is what Tracy taught me. And that's how my family is going to be okay for the rest of their lives. And I'll always be grateful for that. I'm going to miss him so much. Yeah. I mean, I never thought a Zoom meeting would be so hard. I didn't even know if I was going to cry or not. I haven't put down a tissue. This one hurts, guys. But thank you for joining. I don't have much more to say. I'm gonna miss him so much. Like, I've already reached for the phone almost every day. We called each other when it was just a funny customer that we know about, or a window, or a door, or even as stupid as a song coming on the radio, and him leaving me a 2-minute message of that song. So, you know, if any of you guys ever need to talk or anything, give me a shout. I'm always around, but I'm going to miss him. Thanks, guys.
Hello. Hello, this is, I'm Sarah Main. This is the Main family in El Paso, Texas. This is my sister, Anna, and my son, Duke, my mom, Christina, my dad, Frank, and my son, Andrew. And we are cousins of Joy Fink. And we met Tracy a long time ago at Joy and Dieter's wedding. And he made a big impression on us. And we've enjoyed hearing about him all these years. And we are so sorry to hear about what has happened to him. And we wanted to offer our sympathies and condolences. And we have enjoyed looking at the pictures of Tracy and family and friends. And we are thinking about you, and we care about you. And we're thankful that we were able to share this time with you today. Thank you.
I change my mic if I.
Nicole would like to say something here.
Hi, everybody. So Tracy was my brother-in-law, but I always thought about him, you know, more like a brother. I wanted to share a few quick stories about Tracy as, you know, a father. when Christian came into the world, and Tracy was so excited. And then the time came when he would occasionally need a babysitter, and I would jump and I would want to babysit Christian. He was the best, sweetest little boy. But the funny instructions that we call Tracy around here. So the funny instructions Uncle Tracy would give me would be like, sure you have the cheese with the plastic on it, because that's what Christian wants to eat. And so we'd have these funny conversations. Okay, Tracy, I have the cheese with the plastic, I have the apple juice, and the bean burritos. And we would have these funny conversations. And then it would come time for him to reciprocate, and he was happy to. He'd come over to babysit our children when they were little. But he would sit in the lazy boy and get this like football thing going, and the kids would just jump on it for about 2 hours. So he was a great uncle. He took Simon on some adventures, and we were always waiting for Uncle Tracy to come to the kid birthday parties, because when Tracy entered a room, it was magic. He was just like a star. He lit up the room. When he would come to a party, it changed things. He was just a magical, wonderful, loving human being. And I'll close with one example that's near and dear to my heart. Troy had been struggling with his health, and Troy and Tracy were typical brothers. They had good times and bad times. But Tracy, regardless of how they were doing personally at the time, came to the house, got Troy decked out in mountain bike gear, dragged him to Fort Ord, dragged him so many times until he was good enough again on a bike to go with the other guys. And then he took him with all of his friends and included Troy, and basically saved his life, because he had very, very, very bad diabetes. And after some diet changes and working with his brother, his numbers decreased in such a way that he was no longer even diabetic. That's the impact Uncle Tracy made. He saved so many people. He was magical. North County High School will never forget him. He loved hard, and you could tell by the women that were in his life, we all loved Tracy. When you wanted somebody to put the fear of God into your boyfriend, we would call Tracy. He was always there in many different ways. And he's a loss for us, because we have to live without him, but we all know that he's in a better place with no pain, no anxieties. And that's all I have to say.
Is there anybody else that would like to take a turn?
Hi, I'm Beth Holden Garland. I am Joy and Dieter's niece, and I met Troy when I was still probably a teenager at my grandmother's house. And I remember this beautiful young blonde boy with shock, gorgeous blonde hair. And I think when Nicole said he had like star quality, he definitely brightened up the room. And I just remember him growing up, and yes, seeing them at their wedding, and hearing stories of him, you know, becoming a father and living his life, and to see all these beautiful tributes and friendships and his gusto for life and his love of rock and roll. I mean, what a beautiful life he lived. And I'm so sorry for loss. And it hit me hard when I heard the news too. But what an exceptional person and human being. And world was a better place with him. And I just thank you all for sharing all your beautiful stories and these moments. As hard as these times are, it's nice to know that people like that make the world better. And sending love to Joy and Dieter, because I know it's a tough time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to take a turn? Okay, I think we've been through that. If anybody wants to raise their hand after this, feel free. I've got a poem I'd like to read that kind of represents Tracy and our relationship. It goes like this. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye could fame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings we dare ye aspire, what the hand dares seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the swines of thy heart? And when thy heart begin to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp? Dare as deadly terror's clasp. When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What immortal or eye, hand or eye, dare fame the fruitful symmetry? I'd like to thank everybody for all your wonderful stories.
Troy, real quick, Peter Nelson wanted to say something real quick.
Very good.
See everybody.
Go ahead, Peter.
Sorry, guys, had to unmute myself. Can everybody hear me okay? Perfect. You know, Tracy and I, we started out in elementary school with Shannon, and we went through high school, and we were good friends. We were teammates. I mean, played on the basketball team for a couple of years. Listening to everybody, I regret that I didn't get to know Tracy as the man he became. You all have wonderful memories, and I don't have those past high school. So I'm very sorry that I missed out on that opportunity. Christian, I'm sure you're just like your dad, and he was amazing. You'll do amazing things. I know you will. And I just wanted to say I'm really sorry to all the family members, because this is a terrible loss. You know, even thinking about it is a terrible loss. I lost my dad in July, and I know how important family is, and I really feel for everybody. So if I can offer a little, you know, prayer before Christmas, everything's gonna be okay. And Tracy is gonna do great things, as is Christian. And I love everybody, and please just know he's looking down on everybody. Thank you. Jerry, thanks for the video. Great job. Chad, you look like your dad, and I'm scared of your dad. So, I mean, that's awesome. Shannon, you look beautiful as usual. Everybody else, love you. Bye.
Thank you, Peter. Anybody else, Jerry?
Not that I've seen. Raise your hand or send a message.
Okay.
I don't know well, now it went back. I was just going to ask, Jerry, thank you so much for doing this. And I really would love to see everybody's face, because all we've been able to see is our own girls' faces that we've looked at for the last year without hardly anybody else in them. So if anybody can relate to that. I thank my niece Beth for coming, because it does my heart good, and my cousins from El Paso. And to the kids that I knew as kids, like Jerry and Chad,
David,
and David,
Rhino.
and Rhino, and Rhino's brother. You guys have been a big part of our life, whether you know it or not, even though we weren't up very often to see you guys. And there's Shannon. Now I get to see your face too. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, everybody, for, again, all your kind words. It's heartwarming to know he had so many friends. I don't know how you all feel, but I have so many good memories of Tracy, you know, from all the things we did and all the time we spent together. You know, I can truly say that when him and I were together, you know, we lived like there was no tomorrow. You know, we sucked every ounce of juice out of that day or that trip or that ride that we could, sometimes too much. And yeah, he's happy where he's at. I can feel him, and I know he's very thankful for all of you coming here today. I'm sorry we couldn't meet in person. Give everybody a hug. These terrible times, but thank you. With that, that's basically the conclusion of our formal stuff. And you know, if you know, people want to stay and chat, I don't know how Jerry feels about it, but you know, if he's okay with that, we'll just let it run here. If you guys want to talk and tell some more stories, thank you all for coming.
I just want to say thank you for loving our son.
And we've just touched on some of his stories. Many, many more. And until we meet again, we'll be talking about those for a long time.
Kathy, this is Blaine. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you, honey.
I just wanted to let you know I love you.
I love you too. Love you all. Thank
Dan,
you for joining us.
Huge hugs to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart.
Troy, I love you. Uncle Dick, I love you.
Thank you, Blaine. I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, so do I. Very, very much. Very, very much so. My wife is sitting here staring at you going, I cannot believe how much you guys look alike.
I know. Family resemblance is strong.
The Jones genes run deep.
Yes, for sure.
Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
glad I was able to join you guys tonight. I love you very, very much.
Thank you, honey. Talk to you soon, Blaine.
Call me, please.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Jerry, for a wonderful video together and curating today's activities. I really appreciate that.
Of course, Troy,
Jerry,
of course.
you are wonderful. Thank you. This has been awesome.
Stay on as long as you guys want. So it was great to hear all the stories shared with everybody.
Great job, Jerry and Troy. Love you guys.
You too, Kathy, and I'll send you guys a link to the to this video.
Thank you. I had a friend that lives in Holland that asked me for it this morning.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's the video the video that we played, and then the recording of this session today.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, love.
Sure.
Bye-bye. We're going to go now.
Okay. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Hi, guys.
Bye-bye.
Jerry, can you hear me?
Yep,
Thank you for
of course.
you, Troy. Frank, thank you.
Yep. Schumacher, I can't believe that you didn't tell some of the stories where you would have Tracy come over and hang out at your house and then get your dad to help, clean up the backyard, rake leaves for 4 hours. I was waiting for that story tonight, Shu. or how we used to, write down all the yards gained in Tecmo Bowl. We'd sit there and play for like 6 hours until the new version came out and recorded it for us. I was trying to find that photo, and it's at my mom's house, but I have a photo of like all the chicken scratch that we used to have, like how many yards gained by Bo Jackson on his 95-yard run because we decided to run backwards first before we ran forwards. Anyways, a story for another time, my friend.
See, Jerry, I remember Super Bowl Sundays with Chad and Tracy.
Right.
In the basketball game that would get heated, and then thankfully the game would come on.
Right. Yeah. He did throw some, Finkster did throw some great Super Bowl parties. That is right. Those were the days. Yeah. Then we wait for Kathy and Dan to go out of town, and then it was basically like Super Bowl Sunday every day that they were gone. I think that was like our senior year when we would ditch like every other day and go to Denny's and get like the $1.99 special right there in Marina.
Yeah, it was the all you can eat on Wednesdays.
Yeah, there you go.
No one was in class on Wednesdays ever.
Yeah, I think there's one time I was like writing down some of like the funny dumb stuff we would do, but I remember like one time we got like, it was either Mike, who's James is still on here, or it might have been even Peterson, and we got like 6 pancakes with like the double syrup and all of the strawberry stuff that comes on it. And I remember I ate mine,
the compote,
after the next one. And I remember going back to his house and throwing up like 2 hours later and promising myself I would never have pancakes ever again. Of course, that never happened, but oh my God, I remember that like it was yesterday. It was awful. Oh, it was awful.
This is a big loss.
Yeah, where you?
Chris was a big loss. I was, Tracy's a big loss. It's not great.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel good.
No.
So I'm living in Savannah, Georgia now.
Right.
So
yeah, I was actually, if I had more time, I was just in Atlanta for like 3 days back there in a summer camp in August. And I was going to hit you up, but then like the schedule got kind of long and drawn out. So I've been to Savannah, Savannah twice, actually.
Well, it's 4 hours both ways, but next time, definitely hook me up.
Yeah.
That stands for everybody else.
Thank you, Jer.
You bet, Sarah.
No, thanks for everything. It was
Yeah,
really nice.
Thanks for sending those photos over. Appreciate it.
That was hard. It's nice to see everybody.
That's good to see you, Sarah.
See you.
All right, I'm gonna hop off. Jerry, thank you again.
Yeah, talk to you soon, Shannon.
Yeah, give me a call, okay? Good to see everyone. Dean, good to see you. All right.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Jerry.
Okay, bye, guys.
All right, Peter.
See you, Chad.
Thanks,
you
Mr.
guys.
Bill. It's what, 1 in the morning there for you now? Or
Yeah,
2 in the morning?
1:30.
Yeah, past 1. Good old British time.
Wow. What are you going to do? Got work in the morning.
We'll catch up with you soon, Foxy.
Yep, talk to you soon, mate.
All right.
I got on late. How are you, brother?
Good. And yourself?
Good. No, we're running around with some goats and stuff outside. And my alarm went off. My alarm went off for 5. And I went, son of a bitch, it's 4, not 5. So, but I just hopped on, so.
Right on. It's all good.
Yeah. Good seeing you. Good seeing, well, as many folks that, I can't navigate my damn phone to see other video. I don't know how to do that. So,
So what happens when you have a piece of shit Android?
no, God damn it. I have an iPhone. I don't know how to use it.
No, you don't. Because when I text you, it never says it shows up as an Android.
Oh, I don't do the blue. No, because so Danica and I share, what is it, the iCloud or
Right.
something like that. So we'll share texts if we
Oh.
do blue text, right? So
Got it.
yeah,
All right. Are you? What's your stat? Are you gonna be able to make it up on the 19th?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a long haul for you, right? I mean, it's got to be.
We're having to. It's a whole goat thing, but we're having to drive some goats and do some couple things for sales. But that's that 2 weeks from now, so it'll be a little difficult.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have to do something in the spring when everyone's a little more planning involved.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed everybody.
Yeah,
But
there's a good number of people that have gone on. It's got. I mean, I actually surprised. I was talking to Rhino yesterday, and he was like, "There's no way I'm getting on." And so I think his brother finally convinced him to join. He was like completely anti anything. Just couldn't handle it. So, anyways,
I mean, I'm looking on now. Is Shu still on?
yep, just the
I
3 of
can't see
us.
Shu at all.
I'm
And then
still
there were
here.
3.